Hey, what's up everyone? This is Lewis from EnoughWithDebt.com. Wanted to check in with you guys. It has been a little minute, but I got some great news. I have finally paid off my debt. That's correct. Debt is paid off. I have zero debt. I believe total I've paid since I started back in January is about $70,000. Go back a year ago to about December's a little bit above 84,000, so around 85,000 that I've paid off in about a year. So if you've been following me for a while, you know I set a goal back in January 2017 of this year, and that goal was to become completely debt free and everything except for the mortgage. So get rid of all of my consumer debt, credit cards, student loans, any outstanding bills, car notes, all that stuff. I wanted to erase it. Well, when I set the goal, I'll be honest with you, didn't know if I could do it. Kind of made sense on paper, but I knew it would kind of be tight at my current income level where I was at. I was making pretty decent income, but I knew it would be tight if I was going to pay it off in a year. But you know what? I said, hey, let's start this year off right. I know my type of personality. If I'm going to do something, I just got to do it. Like, I can't wait around. I can't take my time doing it. I just got to go through, dedicate and do it. So I thought, I was like, hey, it's 12 months, it's a year. I can do anything for a year, then I can go live responsibly, but not have any debt. But I'm just gonna take this year in January 2017 to take the time to focus on paying my debt. Well, yesterday, I paid it off. I paid my final car note. The car was the last thing I had to pay off. Wrote a check for about $9 grand, paid it off. It is down to zero, so I owe no debt to anyone. Well, we have the mortgage, so tackling that next. Not sure if it's gonna start immediately or how we're gonna plan that, but when we get together and plan our goals for 2018, we'll see what the plan is. I know we want to do some things before that that may require some income, maybe even moving. Who knows? There's a lot in 2018 that we have planned. But anyway, I just want to check in with you guys and just give everyone an update and let them know that I am debt free. Hasn't really sunk in yet. I've told a few people. I'm pretty sure it's gonna sink in. Kind of like when I paid off my student loans. I did that back in August. I did a video then when I paid it off, but it took a while. It took me till I did the next budget to realize, like, wow, like I don't have to make this payment anymore. I don't have any debt. But I don't know, I was going through my budget last night and I was like, man, like all my debt, and I had a spreadsheet where I was tracking all my debt, and I just remember like reflecting like a few years ago where I was thinking like, man, like paying off this much debt. Well, let me start back even a year and a half ago, a little bit over, back in June of 2015. I had pretty good job, pretty decent pay. Had my dream car, my Jeep. Love Jeep Wranglers. That was always my dream car. Bought a Jeep. Had my student loans. I was paying my bills. I was paying the minimum. Had a little money left over each month. I was good. We were traveling, living. And finally I just looked one day. I'm like, you know what? Like, I looked at my debt. Earlier that year I had looked at my interest that I was paying on student loans, and it was like insane. And I look at it and I'd be like, oh, be like, oh, I should pay this off and be down about it, and then I wouldn't take action. I don't know, but finally something just stuck out to me then. Like, I looked and I was like, man, like I am in $100,000 in debt. And I kind of like, I don't know, maybe had kind of like a mild panic attack. I wouldn't say like a full out panic attack, but it just hit me like, man, if you lost your job today or you just lost your income, like you'd have $100,000 of debt that you have to pay back. So I started some small steps and kind of got, a little serious. Like a month later, I just sold my Jeep and got a Honda Accord, my downsize. I mean, that saved me about 20 grand right there. So that helped to get the debt down to something manageable. And then we had some deaths in the family, things come up. So wasn't able to kind of fully get going. And then 2016 kind of year, like I kind of dabbled, like I would, you know, pay one off, like a smaller one, and be like, okay, like I'm gonna get serious about it. But I never just kind of got like focused. Like I tried everything and I was like kind of dibbling and dabbling, had spurts where I get motivated. But finally I was like, you know what? I heard, you know, Dave would say all the time, like, hey, you know, like what you've been doing hasn't been working. So, you know, why not try his method? So I was like, you know what? Let me sacrifice for a year. Not really sacrifice, but let me see what I can do for a year. If I just took a whole year and I focused on nothing but all my energy going towards paying off my debt, can I pay my debt off? And, you know, I've read stories, I constantly read blogs, constantly followed people on YouTube. You guys out there have kept me accountable. Like, it's crazy, like, how much a YouTube channel holds you accountable. Because with me, like, I wanted to be real with everyone, I wanted to be honest. I shared my budgets, I shared my income. Like, I've been fully transparent during this whole process with everyone. You know, what's been going on in my life. Like, I didn't, I will say this, like, I didn't go full out, like, you know, rip out everything out of my life and just do nothing and just hardcore debt. I was about, I mean, if I had to guess, I would probably say I was about 80% there, 90% some months where I was there. But some months, like, we did travel, like we did do things, we did go travel. You know, we had weddings and stuff that we wanted to go to. We did go out to eat, we went and saw movies. We didn't go crazy, I didn't make any big purchases, but it wasn't like with the rate that I was paying off my debt. I'm not saying this plan is for everyone, but I had to get a plan that was flexible for me. We did go celebrate, I did reward myself when we did pay off debts, but I didn't like fully restrict myself. I restricted myself to a certain extent, but I didn't go like, you know, just rip the band-aid off and like nothing, like no luxuries, no nothing. But I didn't make any like crazy purchases. I did small things to celebrate and help get myself through this. Like, I had a chart that I created that was visual, that was on my fridge. I saw it every day where we just tracked me paying off my debt, And if you look on the back of my monthly update videos, there's actually that image, that image that's kind of grayed out in the background. That's like my meter each month. So I finally filled that thing up, but that thing was held me accountable as well. Just seeing that visually. And I think, you know, the thing is, like, I've had several people ask me like, hey man, like, what did you do to pay off your debt? Like, I mean, did you follow Dave's plan? Like, what did you do? Like, yeah, like I followed this plan. Like, I used some things to help get me started with a budget. But the main thing I tell people is like, man, like, if you can visualize yourself doing it, like, I know it sounds crazy, but, you know, just visualizing yourself being debt free. Like, I, you know, visualized myself like every day when I wrote it down, like I could see it, like, hey, I'm gonna get there. Like, that is where I'm gonna put all my focus, all my energy. And like, I cut some things, but like, I knew, like, for me, in order to really like get this debt paid off, like, the biggest way to do it is just like get a bigger income, like increase my income to help get this thing. Because I saw, like, you know, several months when I would get like a surge, I'm like, really the quickest way to do it, like, there's only so much that I can cut back in my lifestyle, so many coffees I can cut out, so many Netflix subscriptions or cable subscriptions that I can cancel, and those things make an effect. Like, I took some steps, like getting rid of my car, like downsizing to a smaller car, like that helped as well. I probably could have went to a car that was probably just a clunker, but I got a car that was reliable, that I knew that, you know, if I paid it off, the car that's gonna last me for years. So I did that, but I didn't do anything, you know, crazy outside that was gonna derail me. I took small steps that worked for me, that were good. I didn't fully wipe out my emergency fund. I didn't go down to $1,000 only. Like, I had a cushion in there. I think the lowest I got my emergency fund was like maybe under 10 grand. But I kept it there, you know, just in case. I've had some things happen this year. Like, I went full-time working for myself. I still have my employer as a contractor, but, you know, that was a huge step for me as well. I did that back mid-year, like June, July is when I made that step. So I kind of slowed down there. Again, I'm paying off my debt. I didn't slow down. I still put like 1 to 2 grand each month at minimum. So I was still making progress, but some months I didn't put as much there. I think my biggest month that I put towards my debt was like 15 grand in the month. I put 12 one month, put 10 one month, and just recently put 9. So I had some big lump sums. On average, I was putting like 6 to 7 grand there a month to try to get my debt paid off. And I know, like, some people think like, man, like, you know, like it's not realistic or it's not possible or I don't make that much. I'm like, what I would say is like, and I tell people all the time, is like, don't compare your situation or yourself to others. Like, start with where you're at and think about like, just worry about improving. So that's the thing that I did this whole time, was like with me, even with my income, like I've always been that way. Like, look at where I'm at and like, how can I be better than I was like each day? So I'm just comparing myself to myself with how I can get better. So I recommend doing the same thing with your debt. Like, you know, who cares? You don't have to pay it off in a year. Like, you don't have to pay it off in several months. You have to pay it off in 2 years, 3 years, but like, take the steps depending on your situation. Take the steps where you're at. Think about, hey, what can I do? What small steps or changes can I make today to make myself better? So, you know, a year from now, like, you know, you made a big chunk of your debt. Like, you're not looking like, oh man, that year went by or another year went by and I hadn't made any progress towards my debt. And to be honest with you, like, I could have done the same thing like I've been doing in the past, and I guarantee you, if I wouldn't have made the decision or the focus to focus on, you know, paying off my debt and making that decision to get debt free, I probably would have been here today, like maybe like $70,000. I probably would have made some steps, but like I would have $70,000, would have had some money saved up, but I wouldn't have had a lot to show for having my debt paid off. So I really think like just making that decision and getting your intentions right and really focusing on, you know, what's important with you and just sacrificing and paying off your debt was like huge. Anyway, I just wanted to share with you guys, everyone, hey, that I'm debt free. I'm still gonna be here. I'm not gonna be sharing my budgets, my monthly budgets anymore. I just wanted to do that the whole time while I'm paying off my debt so I can be fully transparent with you guys so everyone can see the numbers. I may bring it back in a couple of months, but for now I'm gonna stop doing that. But I'm gonna continue to get under here. I'm gonna share more, give more ideas. Like, I'm in a really big transition stage in my life right now with running my own business. So there's like different ideas that I'm wanting to try and test out to bring in additional income. So I think it may be valuable for you guys as well. And I'll continue like to follow, hold everyone accountable, keep doing stuff about sharing different insights and stuff that comes up that allow me to pay off so much debt within a year. Anyway, this is Lewis checking out with EnoughWithDebt.com. If you haven't subscribed, please make sure you go subscribe. And if you do subscribe, click the little bell to make sure you get notifications whenever I come out with videos. You guys have a great day. I'm out.